Happy Monday. We have breaking legal news this morning. And what's breaking is my flippin' brain, you guys. Merrick Garland has an opportunity right now, like at 9 a.m. There is this sweet spot of time when he can, I believe, release not just volume one of Jack Smith's report, but volume two. Let me be clear. Right now, Merrick Garland is 100% legally free, legally free to release to the public the entire, and whatever he might want to redact, but the entire volume of the special counsel report with Donald Trump's criminal activity detailed, the criminal activity from 4 years ago, when he helped instigate a violent attack on the U.S. Capitol to try to do a self-coup and stay in office, right? That entire report is clear to go. And in fact, many of us believed it would have been clear last night, but apparently today, Monday. And so I woke up at midnight, not deliberately, but just because, and I noted that it was midnight. Where the fuck is our report, Merrick Garland? We paid for it. We have suffered for it. And it's your effing fault that you waited 18 months to appoint a special counsel. And as a result of what you did, we never got the trial. So pony up the fucking report, Merrick. Now, let me just be clear. Why is this breaking legal news? Because any minute now, this could happen. And I'm relying on my mods. Good morning, Deb and Jason and Susan and all my friends here. I love seeing your names. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, everybody. Anyway, I can't say hello to everyone, but when you make some comments in the chat, hey, Jaroslav and Jens and Mita, everyone, and all you new folks, this is breaking legal news because right now, as we speak, I'm looking at the clock, maybe at 9 a.m., Merrick Garland will miraculously grow a pair of testicles. And I don't want to be explicit here. It could be ovaries or it could just be a flippin' spine. Grow a spine. Now, I need to tell you why I believe Merrick Garland could release not just the volume detailing Donald Trump's crimes around the insurrection and the fake electors, all of that self-coup attempt. I believe Merrick Garland can and should this morning release the second volume about his hoarding of classified and national security documents at Mar-a-Lago. Now, I am not detailing for you the name of the actual offenses involved, and we can do that in a moment, the crimes, right? But what I'm telling you is that report, I believe, could be free and clear with a snap of a finger or just the press of a flippin' button. Okay, and here is why. Couple things. And let me just back up. The reason why the volume one could go is you might remember that Aileen Cannon, this federal judge down in Florida, who had been presiding over the classified documents case. Remember this? A while back in 2024, I think it was early summer of 2024 or late spring, she dismissed the case against Donald Trump and his two lackeys, Walter Nauta and Oliveira, whose name I've forgotten, these two folks who were also indicted. And she dismissed the case against all of them, arguing that as a constitutional matter, Jack Smith wasn't authorized to be a special counsel. Where that case lies right now is that Jack Smith, when he was special counsel, remember he resigned last week, his last day was Friday. So Jack Smith filed an appeal to the 11th Circuit saying, yeah, she's wrong, that Jack Smith is legit. Okay. Now, subsequent to that, the Justice Department dropped the case against Donald Trump. So all that remains right now is that appeal. There is no active case against Donald Trump's lackeys involving the hoarding of documents and the destroying of the camera records and the obstruction, all of that, right? None of that actually exists. All that exists right now is an appeal trying to reinstate the case against those two Trump minions. Now, this is how Aileen Cannon stuck her nose in this. Jack Smith, his lawyer, showed, or the Justice Department, I don't know which, showed the report to these two Trump lackeys, Nauta and Oliveira, and showed it to their lawyers. And so that is how, and then I think their lawyers shared it with Donald Trump. And it was only volume 2, not volume 1, just the one involving them and the classified document hoarding and obstruction and just, et cetera, right? That case showed them that. And so they ran into court. You know this. They ran into court last week to try to get that stopped. And this is when Aileen Cannon said, yeah, I'm going to put in an injunction. And I'm putting an injunction in place, meaning you cannot give out this report, Jack Smith or Merrick Garland. You cannot share this report about the classified documents. You are banned from doing this unless the 11th Circuit gives you the go-ahead. Okay, so the 11th Circuit on Thursday night said, go for it. You can share that report. You can share volume 1, right? Volume 1 is fine to share. Now, volume 1, of course, is not the one involving the classified documents. It's the one that has nothing to do with Aileen Cannon. Okay, so that's what the 11th Circuit said Thursday. However, Aileen Cannon's order said, okay, fine, you can share the volume about the insurrection, but only if the 11th Circuit says yes, and then 3 days after they say yes. Now, of course, the Justice Department doesn't like the 3-day rule, but the 3-day rule, it was Thursday night, so people thought Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, okay? But Sunday night, like it's 7-ish, almost 8-ish last night, in theory was 3 days, but the first business day is now, and it's almost 9 a.m., and this is the start of business. So that is why at least the insurrection report could come out. Now, I've got a footnote on this, but I want to go with my thoughts on this. What about this other volume, volume 2, that details the stuff about Nauta and Oliveira, right? This is these folks helping Donald Trump. Now, all Merrick Garland needs to do at this point is drop that case. They could go to the 11th Circuit and say, we are withdrawing our appeal, or they could file with the district court saying we are dismissing this case. And then there would be no case against them, and they would be free, as far as I'm concerned, to release that report. Now, you may say, because I've gotten this criticism, Jennifer, no, that's not true. And a couple people said this to me, and let me run through it. Some folks said, wait, this is terrible. Merrick Garland can't do that because of a couple reasons. One, isn't it terrible, they would say, to let these folks get away with these crimes? Okay, let's face it. A week from today at noon, Donald Trump will be the president of the United States. And at that point, his attorney general is going to make sure those cases are dropped against those guys anyway. There will not be justice. And or Donald Trump will issue them pardons. Done and done. Okay? So there's no issue around morality. The second thing people are saying to me is, hold on, this would be bad because right now there is a finding by Aileen Cannon that Jack Smith was appointed, and it would be that it was unconstitutional as appointment, and that can't stand. Someone said so. They have to maintain this appeal in the 11th Circuit. What the fuck? You actually think that matters? What would it matter to let Aileen Cannon's stupid ruling stand in place? One federal court saying that this whole special counsel statute doesn't work. Oh boy, what the fuck problem would that be? Okay, let's look at the immediate. Does that mean suddenly that Merrick Garland then would be unable to release these reports because they weren't legit? What is the crime for releasing them? I don't see that. 1. 2, oh boy, person on Blue Sky who didn't think this through. What would it mean for the existing special counsel statute to not function well while Donald Trump is president? Doesn't matter. Donald Trump won't even need it. And if he did, because he wanted to appoint someone to make it look like when he was investigating his enemies, it wasn't biased. Oh, well, Donald Trump, he doesn't care. He can completely control his attorney general. That's what the Supreme Court said. Okay, so I got a little bit into the weeds there, but the bottom line is where we are sitting is that if we had an attorney general who actually had a spine, then in 2 minutes, we would not only have press send and this whole volume, the whole report would be released. At the very least, as the first step, we would have the entire crime report about Donald Trump and the insurrection. That would be released right now, right? That should be out. And then we would soon find that the filings had been made to withdraw the appeal on the classified documents case concerning whether, Jack Smith was appointed properly. And then that would also be shared with the public. Where it stands now, though, is regarding the classified report. Apparently, Merrick Garland is saying, well, we don't want to release it while those cases are pending. Now, I got a couple things. I got a couple little, curlicues on this, okay? So you might be saying, wait, Jennifer, if you've been paying attention, you might say, hold on, didn't some shit go down this weekend? Can you please update us on that shit? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Over the weekend, and this is the fun stuff. So over the weekend, as you may know, there has been an effort to kind of, to have Aileen Cannon continue to assert herself. So Aileen Cannon, over the weekend, required or asked Jack Smith and to go ahead and tell her how many times, if at all, Walt Nauta and Oliveira were mentioned in the insurrection report. Okay, that is what she asked. And what we know is that, okay, so let me just get this completely straight for you, right? So this happened on the 11th, right? So that was on Saturday. We had the Department of Justice responded to that requirement, right? I'm sorry, let me say it different. Let me just get this right. So the Department of Justice responds to say, okay, look, we don't mention, and it's, the name is Carlos de Oliveira. Okay, Walt Nauta, and Carlos de Oliveira. So the Department of Justice, says, first of all, you don't have any jurisdiction, Aileen Cannon. But okay, we'll respond to your demand to tell us whether there is anything mentioned about them. And they say there's absolutely no mention of Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira. Okay, not at all in the insurrection report. And what the Department of Justice said over the weekend, though, was, but it's vaguely the fact of the classified document incident, that is mentioned, briefly somewhere. Okay, so that is one thing we know over the weekend. What we also found out because of that Department of Justice filing, that is how we found out that Jack Smith had, given the, not only given the report to Merrick Garland on Tuesday, the full thing, but Friday was his last day. Okay, so that is what we learned. What we also found out, though, is that, and by the way, the demand, so the DOJ says, no, you have no authority. But Cannon said by Sunday morning, meaning yesterday at 10 a.m., you've got to tell me. You've got to tell me if there is anything about these guys in the insurrection report. So the DOJ basically said, no, not at all. So what else did we find out? Well, we also found out, based on this report, that there was, it doesn't appear, based on the filing by Nauta and de Oliveira, it doesn't appear that Cannon has extended any longer her stay. And it also appears that they're trying to demand, and it's absolutely crazy, they're trying to demand, guys, that not even the insurrection report comes out. And this is the crazy fucking thing. Okay, if you're not paying attention now, but really, this is the breaking legal news of all of it. Aileen Cannon, let me say it differently. Donald Trump's lackeys want Merrick Garland at this point to give the entire insurrection report that has nothing to do with his lackeys to Aileen Cannon to review the whole document so she can decide whether it would hurt them. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what they want. And you know the reason why they give it? They say that the lawyers who are responding to the briefs this weekend, the lawyers who responded at 10 a.m. yesterday, are not Jack Smith. And so what they're claiming, what the lawyers who ostensibly are working for Donald Trump's lackeys, but obviously for him indirectly, what these lawyers are saying is what Donald Trump's minions are saying is, oh, these Department of Justice lawyers, they're not familiar with the insurrection report enough. We need Judge Aileen Cannon to scour it to make sure it's okay. Okay, that's where we are. And here's what I want to tell you. Fuck that shit. Fuck that noise. This gets resolved if Merrick Garland steps up and dismisses the case. Now, all of this has been entirely predictable for months. The minute Donald Trump won the election this time, and we had Kamala Harris conceding, you could all see this happening. So I really, really don't understand what is going on. And I also wonder why Jack Smith decided to make Friday his last day. Maybe he felt that his work was done. Maybe he didn't want his legacy clouded by the fact that he sensed Merrick Garland was going to drag his feet. I have no idea, but let's make this absolutely clear. I mean, this is this man, Merrick Garland's last chance to cement any kind of thing that would be honorable, anything that would be honorable in his legacy. Now, what I will also say is as follows. We have only Merrick Garland to blame. You can throw this at the United States Supreme Court, but I don't believe it. I believe if he had acted quickly the minute he got appointed in March, this wouldn't have happened. But the problem here is that he was selected. Merrick Garland should not have been the Attorney General. It should have been Sally Yates. She had been Deputy Attorney General, so she was already Senate confirmed, and she had been acting Attorney General, right? Because the Deputy Attorney General, Senate confirmed. What should have happened, without question, is Sally Yates, or maybe Doug Jones from Alabama. He was one thought, but Sally Yates, all ready to go, should have been immediately sworn in. Whoever, and I am throwing this at whoever, either Joe Biden or whoever was running or advising him, we had a fucking insurrection. The country was still angry. There was even, at the time, an impeachment going on. There was still an opportunity to act before people lost all sense of shame and started supporting Donald Trump again. And so January 20th of 2021 or January 21st, Sally Yates should have been put in office as the acting Attorney General. She'd had that role. She was already Senate confirmed. She should have been there. And Sally Yates should have appointed a special counsel, and we would not be here. And yes, I am down to my bones certain about this. Not good at politics, but I'm good at law. And unfortunately, that sounds like a dumb thing to say. I can't believe I said good at law. What a ridiculous thing. What I'm saying is I can anticipate how different this could have been. But that now, my friends, is water under the bridge, and we will just wait. The good news is if we get a report or even the full volume, the good news about all of that is, as I promised, I will come on air I will set up a live. I might need a half an hour to warn you guys. And then we will go through it. Okay. Now, while we are waiting for Merrick Garland to do the right thing, can we just pivot right now to the fact of what else is happening this week from a legal perspective? We have a ton of nominations hitting the Senate Judiciary Committee, right? And we have these. I shouldn't say the Senate Judiciary Committee. We have these nominations hitting the Senate committees, and let us take a look at the hypocrisy here. So in this case, we're talking about the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I'm thinking about Pam Bondi, who Donald Trump has nominated to be Attorney General. And I have Jake Tapper here asking Katie Britt, member of Congress, what about this hypocrisy? Let's go.
Nominees on the Hill this week, and they'll have the opportunity not only to make their case.
Oh, hold on. Let me start at the beginning. Here we go.
Great nominees on the Hill this week, and they'll have the opportunity not only to make their case to those on that committee, Jake, but they'll have their opportunity to make their case to the American people of why they are best suited to move President Trump's agenda forward.
But why would you think somebody who's willing to lie about the election results in Pennsylvania is going to restore integrity in the Justice Department the way that you are calling for?
Nice
Look,
pause.
Jake, I've had very direct conversations with each and every one of these nominees that I've had the opportunity to sit down with. I take my duty as a United States Senator seriously. Article 2, Section 2 mandates that I do. We have an obligation both to the American people and to the president to ask these tough questions. I ask that question very directly. And with each and every nominee, the answers that I have been given with them has satisfied me that they're going to move forward in that direction. So I'm sure she'll have an opportunity to answer this in front of the American people.
Okay. Wow. I could smile like that. I can smile and say bullshit, but I can't actually, because you know why? Because I have dignity and I have the ability to support myself without telling lies, unlike apparently Katie Britt. Okay, I've got some big breaking news right now. I mean, to me, it's big. My dear friend, Jennifer Rubin, I just got a text from her, and it looks like she has quit the Washington Post as a columnist. Yes. Holy shit. So I have this on the news on reliable sources. Let me see if I can pull that up. Jen Rubin. Let's do it. I'm not going to be able to pull the thing up on my screen, but I can tell you because it's on my phone right here. Here's the news, breaking news, exclusive. This morning on CNN from Brian Stelter. Here we go. The headline, the contrarian set for combat. Today, veteran opinion columnist Jennifer Rubin is becoming the latest in a long list of Washington Post figures to leave the troubled institution. Rubin tells me, of course, this is Brian Stelter. Rubin tells me she is partnering with former White House ethics czar Norm Eisen and launching a startup publication called The Contrarian. Holy shit, guys. We love Norm Eisen. We love Jen Rubin. Okay. She said it's not owned by, their tagline is not owned by anybody. It is a pointed reference to billionaire Washington Post owners Jeff Bezos and the other moguls who, in Rubin's view, have bent the knee to President-elect Donald Trump. Holy shit. They've already enlisted 24 contributors, Ruth Ben-Ghiat, Andy Borowitz, George Conway, John Dean, Bob Kagan, Barb McQuaid, Katie Fang, Asha Rangappa, Stephen Ricker, and Andrew Weissman. Guys, while we're doing this, I'm going to text her a message. Congratulations, Jen, exclamation mark. I'm going to message you separately, period. I am live on YouTube right now announcing the amazing news, period. XO, congratulations. Okay, guys, that is totally amazing. I am so happy to hear that. I know Jen Rubin, who is a close friend of mine, and I've only met Norm Eisen once, although apparently we were law school classmates. This is fabulous. The Contrarian. I am thrilled. And in fact, I am so thrilled that I'm going to see if I can get Jen Rubin to come on our show. Not this second. I think I should give her more notice than 3 seconds after she sent a group text out. But okay, that is amazing. Okay, talk about what we need right now. Speaking of what we need right now, I want to share with you my person of the day. Let's listen to Adam Schiff talk about the wildfires. Here we go.
I've been in Congress a long time approving aid after disasters. I never once even considered, is this hurricane hitting a red state or a blue state? What about this flood? What about this fire? It has never mattered to me.
For sure.
We're all in this together. It's the United States of America. We need the incoming president to view it that way. We're ready to work with the president to make sure that we have no gap, no air between us when it comes to making sure that we help victims get back on their feet and help California rebuild.
All right, Senator Schiff, thank you very much for spending.
Okay, that's the way to do it. You know, I don't think anybody really wants to abandon their neighbors regardless of who they voted for. And this idea we have heard that Donald Trump's lackeys are now saying, well, we may help out California, but there are going to be some strings attached. Fuck you. That is not how we do things. Now, someone said something pretty funny. Oh, are the strings attached going to be California keep producing our entertainment and growing our fruits and nuts so we can, you know, not die of scurvy? Okay, so that was my person of the day. Now, let's talk about promises not kept. I know it's not Friday, but we didn't do the whiteboard on Friday, but we'll do it this one. But this is a promise not kept. Remember how Donald Trump kept saying he was going to end the war in Ukraine immediately upon being elected, etc.? Let's hear the kind of backing away from that from his soon-to-be nominee for National Security Advisor. Let's do it.
But of course had said that he could have the war ended even before he took office. I assume that's not going to happen. We're just 8 days away from him being sworn in. What is the realistic time frame for at least a ceasefire in Ukraine? What do you think? What's the goal?
Well, we would like to see a ceasefire in any minute, any day. I think that would be a incredibly positive first step on both sides. And that would then allow us to enter into the framework of some type of negotiated solution here. Everybody knows that this has to end somehow diplomatically. I just don't think it's realistic to say we're going to expel every Russian from every inch of Ukrainian soil, even Crimea. President Trump has acknowledged that reality.
Even Crimea? Oh, no, my friends. This is bad. He's not going to end the war. He's going to hand Ukraine over to the Russians. I don't know what is going on there, but that is some hypocrisy. We've got some nominee hypocrisy. We've got some campaign promises problems. Got one more thing. I think the two things we can count on Donald Trump to achieve is what he did before, which is tax cuts for the rich and family separation and putting children in cages and wreaking havoc in the lives of undocumented people and their families. And we have, what an utter disgrace, J.D. Vance. We almost never see him except when he is speaking in this way, such arrogance, dripping with like, I'm so smart, I can say this shit, you know? Gross. Okay, I want to have you hear this. Here we go.
Egregious things that you cite that I would think all Americans are against.
Sure.
That's a small fraction of the millions of people who are here, who have built lives. Many of them have been here for decades.
So you do have hundreds of thousands, maybe even 1 million people who, in addition to crossing into the border illegally, have also committed some measure of violent crime. So it's actually a very large.
Oh, what data? Millions of people? Okay, I'd like to hear more about that and when they came here. Was it during Trump's era? Okay, let's go. Oops.
Of people, Shannon. And the point is that if you want to fix the overall border crisis, you have to engage in law enforcement. We can't buy into this lie, really from the extreme left, because I agree with you. Most Americans want common sense border enforcement. We can't buy into this lie that law enforcement at the American southern border is somehow not compassionate to families who want to cross illegally. Our number one responsibility is compassion to our fellow Americans, and that starts with enforcing the southern border. You cannot have a country of law and order, of stability, of basic good governance unless you get control of what Biden has left us, the Americans.
Law and order, JD? How can you have a country of law and order when the man whose feet you are washing and kissing and pedicuring every flipping day is a convicted felon? Just fuck off, okay? And also, oh, now he says it's 1 million and they're going to deport tens of millions of people. And also this whole sort of law and order thing. If people are seeking asylum, then they are allowed to cross. And so I don't, I am not an immigration law expert, but I do know a load of horseshit when I hear it from JD Vance. Now, I have a Today I Learned. Today I learned, and maybe I already knew, what a fantastic job Joe Biden did on our economy. And he's going to share with us right here how the jobs report went. Because, I was told that Donald Trump won the first time in 2016 because of economic insecurity. And I was told it was the price of eggs and job creation. But I don't believe any of that. And so I want to share with you how great the economy is doing now so we can remember in a moment to come how it's not doing. And let me just add, what I saw this morning is some cryptic information about maybe stocks being sold right now because of some complicated spreads involving derivatives. And I'm not going to get into this, but it's Goldman Sachs, some notice. And I tweeted it out. I shared it on Blue Sky because it's written in this kind of cryptic language, so not to freak people out. But it looks like they'll be selling. I don't think Donald Trump, as we've talked about before, can basically deport people who are doing a lot of hard work in this country, who are paying billions of dollars in taxes, and also he can engage in trade wars and do these tax cuts that he can't pay for with counterbalancing cuts without having the whole country be, taking their pitchforks out for the rich. Yeah, this whole thing is going to go to shit. And that's why people are going to start selling their stocks, which will only create an opportunity to buy later. But I am not giving any advice because I am terrible at financial advice. I don't give it to myself. I don't give it to anybody else. I can only disclose to you that the very little I have in my 403B, which is kind of like a 401k that is now converted into an IRA, whatever. The very little I had in equities there, I converted into like money market funds just to be nimble. I'm probably making a big mistake. People say just stay at, the advice that they give to non-experts is just stay in a diversified fund of various types depending upon your age, again, and not to buy or sell or try to time the market. And that's fine. And again, I'm not good at this, but Michael said, why don't I do it? And so Michael's better at this than me. Bottom line is, though, the economy is doing great right now. Let's listen to Joe Biden.
Let me close where I started. With this morning's jobs report, more than 250,000 jobs in December. In 4 years, the economy created 16.6 million new jobs, the most in any single presidential term. We've created jobs every single month I was in office. During my presidency, we saw the lowest average unemployment rate of any administration in the last 50 years. And battling through the worldwide effects of the pandemic, Putin's war in Ukraine, and supply chain disruption, inflation rate is down to nearly 2%. These are simple, well-established economic benchmarks that measure the strength of any economy, the success or failure of any president's 4 years in office. I believe the economy I'm leaving is the best in the world and stronger than ever for all Americans.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. And now, for the best part of the show, my crazy Dakota dance. Okay. is inside various prisons across the country, where the people who participated in the insurrection had believed that Donald Trump was going to do a wholesale pardon and that they would be sprung from jail. And now we're hearing maybe Donald Trump is being advised that maybe the violent ones that were convicted for violent offenses would not be treated that way. And I have a guy named Luke Lynx who is pissed off and feels betrayed. And I know how much you would enjoy watching this for Crazy Town. Let's do it.
And then you get people like J.D. Vance. He wasn't there. He doesn't know what happened. President Trump telling people to be nonviolent. I'm going to say this once, okay?
Okay.
You expect us to believe that they stole the election, okay? Which is against the law. And then you want us to peacefully and patriotically go there. Okay, so we did. And then we get attacked by these stupid motherfuckers.
Wow. Wow. Prison hasn't helped him much.
And now you're not willing to stand with us? After we went through 4 years of hell?
Wow. So there he is. And yeah, what I'm also noticing is this guy's angry and dangerous, but he has a kind of interesting mic set up there. It's almost like a hole in his shirt that they've slipped the mic through. I don't know what's exactly going on there, you guys, but yeah. Oh, well, we are in a situation where this dude is going to either be set free after he serves his term and he's going to be angry, or Donald Trump's going to let him out now and he's still going to be angry. And this is what we're facing. This is the kind of person who was at the insurrection, and what he points to, and this is why we need Merrick fucking Garland to give us the full attack on the Capitol report that Jack Smith put together, is that Donald Trump, his lie, his big lie that the election was stolen from him is what drove the violence. This man here has made it clear, and in his logic, kind of who can blame him? I mean, I can blame him, but you understand what is going on here. And this is the crazy town we live in. And in less than, in 1 week from today, a few hours from now, Donald Trump will once again be president. Fuck you, Merrick Garland, for that. And Joe, you should have gone with Sally Yates. Big mistake. Big mistake. And Merrick Garland, you were never the man for this job. Okay, see you guys tomorrow morning, hopefully with a report in hand.